Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
evening, ma'am.
Okay, good
Good evening.
evening. Thank
Good evening, ma'am.
you. Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening, ma'am.
Good
Ma'am, happy
evening.
belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Happy
Thank you,
belated
ma'am.
I'm
birthday.
happy belated
Thank
birthday.
you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Who's this Captain
Good
America?
evening, ma'am. Happy.
Thank you. So I consider that everyone has joined. Am I loud and clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's get started with Constitution of India. Okay, so I'll be taking you in between. I'll be taking criminal law as well if it is related with Constitution. Okay, so before I start, the today's lecture will be on citizenship. Okay, how we get citizenship, how we can terminate that, how government of India can terminate your citizenship. So every aspect of citizenship we will see in today's class. Okay. So my simple question to all of you is how you have become the citizen of India.
Because we are
And by
born.
taking birth on Indian soil.
Okay, so you are saying just Soli principle, okay? Just Soli as in the soil principle, that if you have taken birth on this soil, you ultimately becomes the son of this soil. That is, this principle is called as just Soli, okay? So remember this. Yeah, what else? Any other answers rather than birth? No?
Some our parents and grandparents and are from here only.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Any other answer?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, we are still children, no, ma'am.
Yeah. So you are minor. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Okay. What else? Okay, let's learn about citizenship. Okay. Now, why citizenship is very important? Because recently it has been very much in news, right? We have been hearing the news of CAA. First, it was CAB. CAB was Constitutional Amendment Bill, okay, which was on citizenship, and then CAA now because it became Act. So the bill became Act means it is a law which is applicable to all of us. Okay. Like before I start, even it's a small request to everyone. See, because this is the law chapter and it is like a very new for all of you, right? Law is bit difficult and it's new, so it's obvious. Okay, so don't get so much ki oh my god मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है या how I will manage and all that. Don't do all that things because now the question paper, the pattern is even easier. You don't have to remember anything. Why we are teaching you all this? Because you should be knowing the concept of it. Okay, because in paragraph everything would have been given, but what you need to know is the concept. If your concepts are clear, you are halfway through. Okay, so don't get unnecessarily scared. Okay, it's fine if you're not understanding. This is the first class of law. It's not necessary, but I will try to, you know, to teach you in the simplest language that I can. But don't get unnecessarily scared because there are elements of dates that you have to remember, various historical events that has been related to law topics. So it's fine. We are going one step ahead every time. Okay, so don't get scared. If you have questions, ask me. And no need to worry about all this. Earlier pattern of plat was much more difficult. There you have to remember everything, right? But now because of passage everything is so easy. Okay, so you may not be able to understand today's class or with some difficulties, but when I will give you a passage, I'm 100% sure that you will be able to cross that passage. Okay, because the important thing here is to understand the concept. It shouldn't be like end of the day आपको कुछ भी नहीं पता है इसके बारे में. Just a minute, someone is waiting. Okay, so don't get scared, and it's me only, so I'm approachable, so no need to worry, and let's get started with this interesting chapter. Believe me, it's very interesting, and once we are done with this chapter, you will be able to understand why there was such a chaotic situation in India on CAA, then CAB, and then CAA. Okay, so we will learn everything step by step, okay, as easy as I can explain it to you. Okay, so if you open the Constitution, okay, Constitution is a law which is applicable to whole of the India, right? So in that, the first part, Article 1 to Article 5 is part 1, and citizenship is part 2. Okay, now this is just a general knowledge thing I'm telling you. Do not have to remember that it is part 2 and all, but it is good to remember, right? So part 2 of Indian Constitution deals with citizenship. Okay, now citizens और क्या difference होता है normal citizens में और other people में. Okay, so all the people who are right now staying on the land of India, not necessarily that they are all citizens, right? कुछ ऐसे भी लोग हो सकते हैं कि जो American citizens हैं, but they have come to India to meet their relatives, or because of some movie they have come here for shooting, so they are not citizens, right? So what we call them? We call them aliens or aliens. So aliens, okay? So citizens and aliens. We have divided the people into two groups, that is citizens and aliens. Now, this could be again of two types. ठीक है? This could be friendly aliens and enemy aliens. Now, what will be the meaning of friendly aliens? Means the countries with whom we are having friendly relations. Okay. So, for example, USA. We share friendly relationships with USA. That's why if there are citizens of US in India, we will call them friendly aliens or alliance. Okay, whatever, like you have to pronounce it. And enemy means obviously the countries with which or with whom we do not share very friendly relationships. Okay, so for example, if we are at war with Pakistan, or if now war happens with China, then obviously the citizens of China or anyone from China, all the Chinese people, we will call them enemy aliens. Okay, so friendly aliens and enemy aliens. Okay. Now, what is the difference between citizens and aliens? Why the citizenship is so important? Okay, so citizenship is not like, you know, one temporary ration card with which you will get all the benefits or all the what you will say, with which you will get all the benefits for just temporary time. It is not like that. Citizenship is permanent. Okay, so once you get the citizenship, you get various rights. Okay, so many fundamental rights, like you must be knowing about fundamental rights, but which we will be seeing, you know, in future. So, but now you have to remember that not all the fundamental rights are available to aliens. Okay, so but those fundamental rights are available to citizens. Then most important right to vote. That too also only citizen of India have the right to vote. Okay, not only to vote, but if you want to stand in an election, then again the most important criteria is being a citizen of India. Okay, so you have various benefits of being a citizen of that particular country. Okay, It's not only India, even other countries, if you see, the citizens will be getting more rights over the aliens or the normal ordinary people. Okay, that's why citizenship is very, very important. Then, if you see,
Excuse ma'am.
yeah,
Ma'am,
tell me.
Aadhaar card tells that the person is a citizenship in India.
What?
Ma'am, Aadhaar card, which the people of India gets the Aadhaar card, this like in the other countries, we say PR. So in the India, we say Aadhaar card to the citizens of the Indian government.
Yeah, correct. So Aadhaar card is a card which has been like a unique identification card, right? So other countries also have like something called unique identification. So to match to that level of scrutiny, we have come up with Aadhaar. Okay. So Aadhaar also, it is in English, it is said that you unique identification card, right? But then now there are like several questions which has been taken up that, you know, if we already have Aadhaar, then why this CAA, which will be affecting Aadhaar as well? Okay, so we will deal with this kind of questions later when we will discuss CAB and CAA. But before understanding CAA or before understanding CAB or CAA, you have to understand what are the provisions of citizenship which has been given in Constitution. Okay, so in Constitution of India, only 6 articles are given on citizenship. Okay, and these articles are from Article 5 to Article 11. Okay, so what you have to understand is, before getting to citizenship, okay, why citizenship was such an issue when the Constitution Assembly was sat. So why it was so much in trouble? Because India at that time faced a partition. Okay, so during partition we have faced so many problems. There were people, lakhs of people who were coming from Pakistan to India, and there were several other peoples which were in thousands and lakhs which was going from India to Pakistan. So how to deal with such chaotic situation which was there at that time when the independence was declared, right? So whenever Constitution speaks about citizenship, it is speaking about the citizenship which was available at that time. Okay, so whenever we say commencement of the Constitution, commencement means kab Indian Constitution force mein aaya, that is commencement as in the starting point of the Constitution, which is 26th of Jan 1950. Okay, so this was the period when we were talking about citizenship for the first time, because we had a huge issue before us ki how to deal with these people who are coming from Pakistan and going from India to Pakistan. Okay, so that's why they decided one commencement date, and whenever we are speaking about the commencement, it means 26th Jan 1950, because from this date the Constitution of India was effective. Okay, so that's why this date is very important, and all this article deals with this date. Okay, and in this only, in Article 11, okay, what the Constitution says is, till 26th Jan 1950, okay, till this time we are the one, like the Constitution of India will be deciding the citizenship, but afterwards, okay, afterwards it is Parliament of India who will be deciding on the citizenship issues. Okay, so Constitution gave immense powers to the Parliament of India to make any law on the citizenship. Okay, and that's how, like earlier only when we were like, you know, jab India naya form hua and we had to deal with this partition issues, that's why the Constitution clearly says now we are dealing with the constitution articles, which is from 5 to 11. But afterwards, in future, you have to seek the law which has been created by Parliament of India. Okay, so 1950 के time, so आपके दादा दादी, maybe परदादा परदादी, okay, उनका citizenship जो हुआ, that was based on the Constitution of India. But now, if you have to see your status, okay, your citizenship rights, कि कब से ये हुआ, क्या हुआ, मेरे बर्थ के टाइम पे क्या रूल था, so that you have to seek in the law which has been made by Parliament of India, and which is the Citizenship Act. Citizenship Act 1955. Okay, so after 5 years this law came. Okay, how you will remember that initially it was, the commencement date was given in the 5 to 11 articles, but the 10 and 11 article itself talks about the power which has been given to Parliament of India, who can make any law on the Citizenship Act, okay, citizenship. And that's how the Parliament, with the power which was given by the Constitution to the Parliament, they made this law which is called as Citizenship Act 1955. Okay, now the CAA, CAB, everything revolves around the Citizenship Act. Okay, so that was the amendment. CAB is Constitutional Amendment Bill. Okay, now let me tell you something. What is Constitution Amendment? Okay, so Constitution was formed in way back in 1940s, right? It came into existence from 26th Jan 1950. Now, to match with the changing times, okay, because this is an old constitution, to match with the new times, we have to make certain changes in the constitution. Okay, so that change could be anything. Maybe you are adding something, okay, or maybe you are taking out something permanently from the constitution. So this kind of changes, okay, which you want to make with the changing times to the Constitution of India, that is called as amendment. So amendment is nothing but just the change that you want to bring to the Constitution, and to bring that change is not easy. Okay, so you have to pass a bill in the Parliament, and if that bill has been passed with majority, that we will see later what is the procedure and all. But now you have to just understand that if for Constitution amendment a bill has been passed, it should be cleared with majority of the people sitting in the Parliament. Okay, and if this gets passed with majority, then this bill becomes the act. An act means law. Okay, so bill doesn't have any powers with it, but once it passed, okay, with majority, then it becomes act. Act means nothing but a law. So this
Excuse
law,
ma'am.
yeah.
Ma'am, can you please explain it again?
Okay, so what I was telling is amendment. You understood what I told about amendment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so amendment is nothing but a change that you want to bring to the constitution. Okay, now for example, not constitution amendment, but just a criminal amendment. I'll give you an example, right? So earlier when it was formed, IPC for example, it was formed in way back 1860. Okay, so it was formed the 18th century. Now under IPC, homosexuality was a crime. Okay, but nowadays we know that how the LGBT works, right? They have all the parts, they have all the equal rights. So now that has become even non-criminalized, right? So what we have to do for making it non-criminalized is we have to pass a bill in the Parliament. Okay, so if I am saying that, okay, homosexuality is something that we shouldn't be having now, because that was from the old times, and now the time has been so much changed that these people should also get recognition, equal rights, equal benefits in the society. And that's why what I will do, I will put a bill in the parliament. Okay, now seeing my bill, it will go through all the members of parliament. Okay, if they think that the bill really has a substance in it, then it will be like majority people will be saying yes, this bill is really valid and we should be, making something substantial about it. So what will happen then? Then that bill will become an act if it is passed, if it got the majority of the member of parliament. Okay, so that's how any bill becomes act. Okay, so CAB was something that when it was in bill form only, it was hugely criticized. Okay, it is on the Citizenship Act, this amendment bill, which was 2019. It was widely criticized for several other factors, like why only these countries have been considered, why only these religions have considered for CAA, CAB. Okay, so we will see that later, but basic things you should understand that, whenever a bill, it is, passed from the parliament with majority of the people, then it will become act. Okay, so this act again, we will be talking about, the center will be this act, because now it has become law. So to understand this law, you have to know the basics, and that's why we are dealing with Article 5 to 11, though it is having a back relation, because nowadays we don't have to see to these articles because we have Citizenship Act 1955, right? But still we need to understand this. Now, Article 5, okay? Article 5 talks about the domicile. Now, what is domicile? Every one of you have a domicile certificate. Now, what is domicile? The meaning of domicile as per you. Why do you have that certificate and what is there in that certificate which you have? Anyone?
It is to prove that our country is our permanent home.
Okay.
Ma'am is disconnected.
Yes, she is disconnected.
Okay, sorry for the disturbance. Okay, so what were your answers? Sorry, I just lost you guys for some time. What was your answer? Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
And that the certificate is issued by the government to prove that we are the citizens of India.
Yeah. Other than that, what is there on that certificate?
Excuse ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, what was your question?
The question is, what is domicile? What is written in your domicile certificate that everyone you should be having? So what is the meaning of domicile?
Ma'am, like specifying a as a perm.
Sorry, Krishna Anjali?
Ma'am, specifying a country as our permits. permanent home.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, what is domicile is? Domicile is nothing but your permanent, wherever your permanent residence is there. Okay. So, for example, okay, I am an Indian citizen. Okay, but I got a 5-year posting in Sri Lanka, for example. Okay. Now I have to go to Sri Lanka for that job for 5 years. Okay, and then I actually started liking the place, you know, the Buddhism, the kind of culture Sri Lanka is having. So for 5 years I again extended it to 6 years. Okay, but then obviously, because that is not like, that is not my country. Okay, and I know that one day I have to go back to my country, because my permanent residence is in India, my permanent house is in India, right? So that is domicile. Okay, now Supreme Court has
Excuse
been
ma'am.
just like, I'll be asking you, okay, that if you have any question, I will give you a gap of asking questions, so don't worry. But if you will interrupt now every other like 5 minutes, then I'll just lose the track and I'll be like, okay, where I was. So I'll give you time, don't worry about it. Let me just explain the concept and then you are free to ask me questions. Okay. Yeah. So coming back to domicile. So
Okay, ma'am.
domicile is a permanent state of residence. Wherever your residence is there, permanent residence, that will become your domicile. Okay. Now USA has other states. Okay. So they have dual citizenship. One is of the country and one is of that state where they are staying. But we do not have that. We only have one citizenship. Okay. So when we talk about domicile, it's the domicile of India. Okay. We don't talk about states at all. Okay. So whenever it's domicile and whenever it's India, so we are talking about the India as a whole as domicile. Okay. We don't say that, okay, I belong to Karnataka, so I have a permanent residence in Karnataka and that's my domicile. No, it means that you are staying a resident, though you are in Karnataka, but Karnataka is a state which belong to India, so your domicile will be of India and not that state. Okay. Yes. Now you can ask me your question. What is your question on domicile?
Ma'am, I was asking that domicile is when we are living in any country legally.
It could be, yeah, obviously it should be legally. If it is illegal, then how they will ask you to stay? Okay, so domicile, wherever it will be, it has to be legal. Otherwise, you don't have that much, like, you know, you will be called as illegal resident. Okay, or a migrant. So what is illegal migrant? Is someone who's coming to that state, though you have a proper document. So if I want to cross my country, I should be having a proper legal travel document. Okay. So in that legal document, there will be a date written. Ki from this date to this date, this person can stay in our country. Okay. So if that date was only till 31st of August 2000, okay, and I am staying there after 31st, September also is gone, October is also coming. So if then I am extending my stay, which is not legal, okay, because my document clearly says that I can only stay till 31st of August. So if at all I am staying beyond what is permitted to me, or I have been showing them the fraud documents. Okay, so only in two cases I can stay. One, I'm showing them a illegal travel documents, and second, I entered the country with the legal documents, but the date has been expired and still I extended my date there. Okay, so every country will have this check on you if you are an illegal migrant. So you cannot stay anywhere and you cannot have that place as your domicile if you are not legal. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other question on domicile? Okay,
Excuse me,
I'll
ma'am.
take it as no.
Ma'am,
Yeah, Nayan. Tell me.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, for example, I went to US, so I like the place. So can I make US my domicile?
No, India will always be your domicile because you have a permanent resident in India and you will still be an Indian citizen, right? So if you want to be the US citizen, first of all, you have to give up the citizenship of India. Okay. And if that country where you want to stay, their dual citizenship is also there, then it's a choice to you. But for India, India has made it compulsory that if you want to be a citizen of India, then only one citizenship you will get. Okay. So we do not have the concept of dual citizenship. So either this or that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, like if there is any amendment in constitution, then it will be known as a constitution amendment bill.
Okay. So if when it will be like till it is passed, it will be a bill. Once it is passed, once it gets majority and everyone is fine with that bill, that yes, this rape bill is really good because it is giving some strict punishments to the person who are rapist. Okay. And everyone is agreed to what new bill is saying. So once that new bill gets signature of a majority of the parliament members, then it becomes act. So act is something which everyone is like legally binding, like you have to follow this law. Okay, but bill is not something that substantial because bill is just a bill. It is yet to be passed by the members of parliament. So it is still not a law. So when it is bill, it means it is still not a law. And when it is act, it means it is a law.
Okay, ma'am. And the first amendment was in 1955.
When did I say that?
Means you said something about 1955.
Yeah, so 1955 is when the parliament came up with a new law on the citizenship, which was Citizenship Act 1955. Okay. So it was but obvious that before 1955, whichever the matters were there by on the citizenship, that was dealt by the Constitution of India, because till 55 we were not having any Citizenship Act. Okay. So obviously then whatever like comes before 55, it was all dealt by Constitution. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other question, guys?
Excuse ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if any person is living in another country, for example, foreign country, he's a permanent resident there. And in India, that person is having lots of property and his field and his home is in India. And he's a permanent resident in other country. So that field and that property in India would be considered to him only.
Yeah, because he will still be, there is one concept, okay, which is called as PIO, okay. So now what is PIO? PIO is nothing but person of Indian origin, okay. So as you said that he was in India, but then he left. So obviously he must be having someone, okay, his parents or his grandparents who also took birth in on the soil of India. So obviously that way he will be termed as PIO, that is person of Indian origin. Okay. So we also have given various ways that if you are a PIO, that is person of Indian origin, and now you are staying somewhere else. But then what are the provisions, like how you can take the citizenship of India, how you can take the card, which is OCI card. So that benefits are also available only to PIO, that is person of Indian origin. But we'll see this later, okay, when we will deal with Citizenship Act 1955. Because PIO doesn't have, like, PIO has been properly explained in Citizenship Act. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other question?
Ma'am, at what age we have to make the domicile certificate?
Age, I'm not sure. I'm not
So,
sure.
ma'am,
But age
when
is
we are-
something, yeah.
Ma'am, when we are born, our certificate is already made, or we have to make?
No, you have to make. You have to make. There are like, as far as I remember, you have to collect some other certificates as well. And on the basis of that, your parents, some certificates from your parents, some certificates from you. And on the basis of that, they give domicile.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah? Okay. Okay, so then it was Article 5. Okay, we have had good discussion on what is domicile. Now we are sure like what is domicile is nothing but a state of permanent residence. Okay, so Article 5 is about the domicile. Now what it says about domicile? It says that whoever, okay, now we are talking about the commencement of constitution. Okay, commencement of constitution, that is 26th Jan 1950. So let me read that article for you. Okay. So Article 5. Citizenship by domicile. Okay, so the heading is like that: citizenship by domicile. So you will, this article simply says that you can get the citizenship on the basis of your domicile. Okay, so now domicile means, as I told you, is a permanent state of residence. So if I have my domicile, that is in India, then I'm fulfilling one condition, okay, of citizenship. Now there are only two conditions that you have to follow, okay, for citizenship by domicile. Now out of this condition, one I already told you, that you should have a domicile in India, okay. Second is, you have to fulfill only one condition out of these three, okay. So listen very carefully. You are able to see the board, right? Till 3 you are able to see? Guys,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's visible.
So, first condition is being a domicile. You should be having a domicile in India. Second is, out of these three, only one you have to fulfill. Okay. So, the first one is either you, like you should be born in India. Okay. So, what we are saying about this date. So, if you are born in India on this date or before this date, okay, so that is one condition, that you yourself is born in India, okay, then your parents and your grandparents or your grandparents born in India, okay, or before the commencement of India. So that is this year, okay. So before 5 years of commencement of India, that too immediate 5 years. So it just means that if before 5 years, like 1950, okay. So 1950 ka before 5 years kitna hoga? 1945, right? So if you are residing in India, okay. So just carefully read this. Residing in India immediately 5 years.
Ma'am, we
before
cannot
the
see third
commencement
point.
of
And we
India.
can't see the third point.
Okay.
Take it down a bit.
I'll write it here, okay? So the third point is residing in India, okay? Residing in India immediately, okay? Immediately word is very important. Immediately before 5 years. 5 years before the commencement of Indian Constitution. So before the commencement means we have this date as commencement date. Immediately 5 years before, obviously it means 1945. So if you are residing in India from 1945 until this date, you are already completing 5 years of your stay in India, even on that basis, okay. So if you are fulfilling this, So obviously during that time, okay, some Britishers were there, which were staying, Anglo-Indians were there, that, if Indian or Indian girl and British guy, or British guy or Indian girl, vice versa, anything, those people are called as Anglo-Indians, right? So if you are like that, or any other person who is staying in India from 1945, and he also has a domicile, so what he's doing here, he's fulfilling two conditions for citizenship by domicile. So even if he is not Indian, but he's residing in India from 1945 and he already have a domicile in India, then even to that person, the citizenship, Indian citizenship, can be given as per Article 5. Okay, so to understand Article 5 is very simple. Article 5 talks about how you can get citizenship, that to Indian citizenship by domicile. So obviously we are talking about the citizenship by domicile. So the first condition should be around domicile, right? So that's there. So out of two conditions, one is you have a domicile, and second condition, any one of the three you have to satisfy. So either you are born in India, then the other things are not necessary. Or if you are not born, if your parents or grandparents are born, then also you can get a domicile. Like how? Okay. So for example, you have अपना क्या बोलते हैं ना, पुरखों से मिलती आई है, वो पुरखों का घर है वहां पे, means the very traditional house which is there for ages, right? And so you can claim that as your domicile, okay? And then you can prove that any of your grandparents were staying there. So obviously on the basis of these two conditions, you can actually get the citizenship by domicile under Article 5. Am I clear? Everyone is on mute,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ma'am.
because I can hear some disturbance. So everyone just go on mute unless you don't have any question. Okay. So am I clear with Article 5? It's
Ma'am, I
just
had
the
one
very
question.
basic one. Yes, Adi, tell me.
Ma'am, the second point in which your
Mhm.
parents or grandparents should be born in India. So is it born in India or a citizen of India?
No, born in India.
Okay, ma'am.
Excuse, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if a child is born in India and his parents are from outside, they are not Indians and they are not permanent residents of Indian also. So the child will be considered as a citizen of India or not?
We will discuss this later, because at this point now it will only create confusion. Okay. So once I will teach you now, all your doubts will get cleared, because we are only on the Article 5. And as I said to you that this is the one, like citizenship of India in part 2 of the Constitution. It only deals with, when we were new, like commencement only to 1950. And after that we got a new law, which is citizenship of India. So all these queries, like how it will be dealt, how someone will get citizenship, everything is there in the Citizenship Act. So when I will teach you Citizenship Act, all your doubts will be cleared. Now just focus on what I'm teaching you. Is Article 5 clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so we will go ahead, okay? Don't worry, don't get panic. All these questions will be answered, okay? But you have to understand the very basics of it. And that's what we are reading now, okay? So Article 5 is must that you have to understand citizenship by domicile. Domicile, only two conditions you should have. One is having a domicile in India, okay? And second is either one of the three. One is either you are born in India, second is your grandparents or parents are born in India, and third is immediately before the commencement of Constitution of India, 5 years before the immediate commencement, you were residing in India, okay? So if you prove that, then you could have got the citizenship by Article 5, okay? Then moving to Article 6 and 7, okay? Now 6 and 7 deals with the problem that time which we were dealing, that people, like there were large scale of migration from Pakistan to India and from India to Pakistan, right? So that's why these two articles 6 and 7 focus on how the citizenship will be dealt with this kind of people who came from India, who came from Pakistan to India, and then from India to Pakistan. Okay, so sixth one, like Article 6 talks about people who came from Pakistan to India. Okay, so from Pakistan to India. Okay, so how to give citizenship to these people? Okay, so what they have decided at that time, because people were allowed earlier to freely move from one country to another when the partition was announced, but later on, okay, a date was given, and that date was 19th July 1948. Okay, now why only 19th July? What is the importance of this date? Does anyone know what is the importance of this date? This date, on this date, for the very first time, now the people who were freely moving from one border to another as if it's just neighborhood, right? So that shouldn't be done. Now there should be one permit system. Okay, so on this date they issued a permit system. Okay, now what is this permit system? Now anyone who is crossing the border of India and going to Pakistan, they have to show this permit card. See, this is my permit card. I have a permission to go from India, to cross the border of India and go to Pakistan. Similarly, if someone is coming from Pakistan to India, even they have to show the same permit system, that see, this is my card and I am allowed to cross this border from Pakistan to India. Okay. Now, this was applied from 19th July. Okay, so before 19th July, people were just crossing the borders as if it was nothing but it is just a neighborhood. Yeah, what is the disturbance? Can you go on mute? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so now to give the citizenship to this people, this category of people who came from Pakistan, we decided one date. Okay, so we have divided the people into two groups. Obviously, if this is the date, we have to decide कि people who came before this date and people who came after this date. Okay, so ठीक है, 19th July 1948, and people who cross the border of Pakistan to India before this date, and people who came after this date. Okay, now people who came before this date, okay, so whoever came before the permit system, we gave them easily the citizenship of India on only two bases. One is that they were part of undivided India. Okay, undivided India as in British India. Okay, so when we were in the British India, if you see and if you Google the British India map, it shows the Pakistan as well. Okay, so here, before anyone who has crossed the border of Pakistan and came to India before this date, we only gave them two options. First, if they are born or their grandparents or their parents born in undivided India. Okay, and second, once they came, like from the time they came to India, they are staying from that day till now. Okay, so till now as in till this 1948. Okay, so this was easy. Guys, can you please go on mute? It's a disturbance for others. Okay, so Article 6. yeah, Article 6 is divided into two parts, that people who cross the border before this date and after this date. So people who came before, so obviously the conditions were less stringent. So only two conditions they have to fulfill. One is either they or their parents, grandparents are born in undivided India, or second, from the time they have come to India, from the time they have crossed the border of Pakistan and came to India, from that time till today, they are staying in India only. Okay. Now, people who came after this date or on this date, was they were having some difficult rules to get the citizenship of India. Okay. Now, what are the rules? The first two remains the same. So first one is they have to fulfill 5 conditions. First one is either parents or any grandparents were born in India. Okay. So the same one. Okay. So this one was he, either himself or his parents or grandparents are born in undivided India. Or second one, he had returned to India under permit of resettlement. Okay. So second point is return to India under the permit. Now, after returning to India, he has given one application to the person who is authorized to make him the citizen of India. Okay. So whoever the authority is, he has given his application that I want to be a citizen of India. Okay. And after giving this, now before giving this application, the one condition that was prevalent is you can give this application, but for that you have to finish 6 months stay in India. Okay, so by the end of 6 months stay in India, you can easily move your application. Now, after you gave the application, the person whom you have given the application, he has also registered you as a citizen of India. Okay, once this process is over and you have come after 19 July, still after these 5 conditions, you can still be a citizen of India. Okay, so this is little bit confusing. So let me repeat one more time and now pay the attention whoever hasn't understood. Okay, so 19th July 1948 was the cutoff date. Okay, why? Because from this date, permit system has started. So whoever now wants to cross the border, they have to show this permit system. Okay, so if you want the citizenship of India, okay, so this date was decided as cutoff date, and before if you have come and after if you have come, conditions are given. So if you have crossed the border before 19th July, then you only have to fulfill 2 conditions. One is that either you, your parents or grandparents were born in India, and second one was since you crossed the border, you have not left it, so you are still there, you haven't gone anywhere. Okay. And the second one was bit stringent because you came after the cutoff date. Okay. So afterwards, if you are coming, then you have to follow 5 conditions, out of which the first one is same. Either you, your parents or grandparents, you know, they were born in undivided India. Second, that after coming back, at least you have to complete 6 months of stay in India. Then once your 6 months are over or you are near to 6 months, you can move your application. Okay. And that application of becoming a citizen of India, that has been accepted by the authority, whoever that time was concerned authority. Okay. And that authority has already registered you as a citizen of India. So once you fulfill this condition, so whoever came from Pakistan to India after or before this date, they have to fulfill this condition for becoming citizen of India. Am I clear here? Tell me the doubts.
Can you please repeat the second point of before coming?
Before coming.
1948, if no.
Yeah, so before if you have come, okay, the steps are really easy. You just have to fulfill 2 conditions. One, your parents, grandparents, or you are born in India. And since the date you have moved, okay, so it could be any date. So for example, you have moved on 1st of Jan 1948. Okay, So your date is you came to this border on 1st of Jan 1948, okay? And from 1st of Jan, you haven't gone anywhere. So since that time, you are staying in India only, in the territory of India only, okay? So you haven't gone anywhere. You weren't confused that, okay, I still want to go back to Pakistan, so or anywhere for that matter. So this is that rule that, you know, since you have crossed the border, you are staying in Indian territory only.
Ma'am, even I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, what was the proof that the grandparents or parents were born in India at that time?
Maybe birth certificate.
Like, was that available in that age? Were the
I
people
don't
educated
know.
enough to buy the birth certificate or something?
Obviously it will be there, but I actually I'm with you on this point, because now also, like, people who are from villages and all, they don't give that much importance to
Yes.
birth certificates, right? And that was like the age old concept. So but as far as I know, that my granny and all, they just have their school leaving certificate. On the basis of that school leaving, like in school they will have some nearby date that, okay, you are this old now, you are 16 and this year is this. So they were just used to go back 16 years back, and they used to give that birth date. But if at all, now also it's all about the birth certificate, which shows that, you know, this is your correct age.
Yeah, but majority people don't have that.
Correct.
Didn't know that thing that birth certificate did exist that time.
Yeah, true. So that's why, like, they are saying that if your grandparents or your parents, so some other certificate, maybe if that not the criteria, some other way where you can just see what was your age of.
Yeah, were there any other type of proofs that time other than birth certificate?
I really am not aware.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. What else?
Ma'am?
Any other question? Yeah.
Ma'am, that please explain the second point of after one. Miss third point.
Okay. Third point.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you understand Hindi or you don't?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I can understand.
Okay. Okay. So अगर आपने बॉर्डर क्रॉस किया है पाकिस्तान का इंडिया में आने के लिए इस डेट के बाद या इस डेट पे, ठीक है? So maybe you have come to India from Pakistan on 19 July or after 19 July. Then because it was cut-off date and you are coming after the cut-off date, so obviously it will be bit difficult, right? हमें एग्जाम का फॉर्म भरने के लिए भी एक डेट होता है, राइट? कि इस डेट के पहले आपको एग्जाम फॉर्म सबमिट करना है. अगर आप इस डेट के बाद आए तो आपको फाइन चढ़ेगा, राइट? We have that in every college and every school. So we consider that date very important, because you know that after this date, if you are going, obviously some fines will be there. So similarly here also, the date, cutoff date, like if you are coming after this cutoff date, then first of all, you have your parents or your grandparents or you should have been born in India, okay? और आने के बाद now you have come from Pakistan and that too after the cut off date. मतलब है कि आपको बहुत डिफिकल्ट था इंडिया में आने के लिए, but that was the hardest decision that you have made. And if you are coming near to that or after that due date, so it means now you have to prove कि आप 6 महीने तक इंडिया में रहे हो, okay? And after finishing 6 months only, you have to decide that, okay, now it's the time that I have to make application, okay? Because that is one fulfillment you have to do. So 6 months criteria was given for the people who are coming after the date कि आपको 6 months तक इंडिया में रह के दिखाना है. And after this 6 months only, you have to give an application to the concerned authority saying that I want to be, I am very sure that I want to be a citizen of India, and that person should also register you as citizen of India. So once you fulfill these 5 conditions, you will be getting the citizenship of India.
Okay.
Are you still having any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, that second point is not visible properly. And before one.
Before one. Okay, I haven't written it here. So it just says that from the time you have crossed the border, okay, whichever time, from that time, since you have come to India from Pakistan, from that time you are staying in India only. So you understand Marathi, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So it just simply says कि अगर आप इंडिया में आ गए हो पाकिस्तान से और जब से आप इंडिया में आए हो तब से आप इंडिया में ही रह रहे हो, आप कहीं नहीं आप वापस पाकिस्तान नहीं गए हो. So even in Marathi if I have to say की ज्या दिवसापासून तुम्ही इथे आलेले आहेत महाराष्ट्र इंडियामध्ये पाकिस्तानवरून त्या दिवसापासून तुम्ही इंडियातच राहताय, तुम्ही कुठेच नाही गेलाय. Okay, it means the day you have come to India, from that day till now you are staying in India only. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone having any other question? Any doubts on Article 6? Okay, I'll take it as no. Then now moving to Article 7.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you said there were 5 conditions of after returning. So you said only 3. So what are the
No,
4?
the first one is being born in India. Okay, you or your parents or your grandparents, right? That was first point. Second is he had returned to India under permit of resettlement, right? Because permit system was introduced, I told you. So you have showed the permit and you have come. So that is second point. Third is he had resided in India after re-migration for at least 6 months, right? That is third point. Fourth is he has submitted an application for registration to the concerned officer. And fifth one is he has been registered as a citizen by such officer. So now there are these 5 points.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So then moving to Article 7. Okay. Article 7 has another cutoff date now. Okay. So what is that date? The date is 1st of March 1947. ठीक है? So 1st of March 1947, and what we have seen in Article 6 is 1948. Okay, so we are talking about now 1947. ठीक है? So this is the cutoff date which was given in the Article 7. Now what is this all about? Now हमने देख लिया है कि people who are from Pakistan and they want to come back to India, right? Now this article is about people who want to move from India to Pakistan. India to Pakistan. Okay. So what this article says is, if you were in India, you were part of India, okay, but you moved to Pakistan on or after this date. ठीक है? On or after this date, then you will not be considered as Indian citizen. Okay? As clear as that? Okay, you have crossed the Indian border. ठीक है? You have crossed the Indian border and you went to Pakistan on this date or after this date. ठीक है? But now, yes, then you will be ceased to be an Indian citizen because you went to Pakistan. Okay? But for some reason, okay, you decided to come back from Pakistan to India after this date. Okay, so people who are not coming is not concerned because ultimately they are not citizen of India. Okay, but people who want to come back, okay, so ऐसा हुआ कि आपको जबरदस्ती जाना पड़ा, right? लेकिन वहां पे जाने के बाद आपको पता चल रहा है कि it is very difficult to stay here. I cannot stay here because from ages I have been staying in India and you know that atmosphere was something that I really want. So I want to go back to India. Okay. So here also people who came back, okay, or after this date, they have to fulfill 5 conditions. Now again, five conditions are the same conditions which were given in Article 6. Okay, so the conditions are, if they satisfy five conditions, first, either parents or grandparents were born in India. Okay. Second, he had returned to India under permit of resettlement. Third, he had resettled in India after remigration for at least he has to stay for 6 months and submitted an application for registration to the officer, and he has been registered as a citizen by such officer. So all the five condition remains the same. Okay, but it just says that the important issue here is people who moved from India to Pakistan. Okay, so those who didn't come back, obviously they cease to be Indian citizens, but people who came back, okay, they have to satisfy the five conditions. Either their parents, after going from here also, they have to satisfy the same conditions कि उनके parents या वो या उनके grandparents यहाँ पे born हुए थे, and they have come back under the resettlement permit system. Okay, and under that permit system now they have to stay 6 months, and 6 months के बाद उनको एक application move करना है कि मुझे citizen बनना है, and that officer to whom the application has been submitted, he also given a grant that yes, this person has been registered as a citizen of India. But all these things will happen after 6 months of stay, right? Because he has again come back to India, and that's why the conditions. Now, am I clear or any doubt?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, the person will stay for 6 months only if he is in India.
He has to stay in India, yes, because he is coming for Indian citizenship.
From Pakistan.
From Pakistan.
Ma'am, only from Pakistan, not from any other country or any.
No, we are only dealing with the India-Pakistan citizenship under Article 6 and 7.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Any other question? Yes.
Ma'am, first, if a person is living in India, so why they will go to Pakistan? If they are
Maybe, maybe their so much property is there, maybe their house is there. It could be anything, right? So see, now I have a house in Bangalore, and suddenly if they declare that, Maharashtra is becoming separate from India, then I have to wrap up everything and I have to go back to Maharashtra, because I know that ultimately my domicile is there, my parents are there, and I don't want to leave my parents just for the, the property that I have in Bangalore now. Obviously, I wanted to go back to where my native is, right? So that could be one of the reason.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, and ma'am, can you please repeat the before coming from that date? Before 1st March. Before 1st March, the condition. Can you repeat?
Yeah, before 1st March is not there. Like if you have gone from India after this or on this and you're not coming back, so obviously you cease to be Indian citizen. Even though you used to be citizen, now you had gone and you haven't come back on this date. So obviously that Indian citizenship you will lose. And if you are coming back, then the 5 conditions.
Excuse ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ma'am, if any person is not able to go to his country, means like he's living in Pakistan that time, and he wants to go to India, and he missed by chance this date, 1st March 1947, and in 2nd March he tries to go to India. So he will be able to go to India or not?
So as per this rule, like, maybe because in books what we have given is only this stringent rules, but we do not have any other guidelines in the constitution as of now that, what were the actual rules at that time. Okay. And here still we are in 1947. But if you go back to even the earlier article, okay, but the earlier article is only applicable, it is though 1 year ahead, but it only is applicable from Pakistan to India, right? So again that chance was given that if you are in Pakistan and if you still want to come to India, right? So that time the permit system, which was 19 July, so that resort is still open for him. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What else? It was the hardest decision that India has to make. That's why they made it possible that every way should be open if you want to come back and be a Indian citizen. That's why they gave this like several cutoff dates. Even after this you can come. Even after this you can come. But you know, this should be the guidelines that you have to follow. These 5 conditions.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, could you please explain it again, ma'am? I lost my connection in between.
Which one I have to explain?
Article 7.
Article 7.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so Article 7 is all about people who want to go from India to Pakistan. Okay, so one date was given, 1st March 1947. So they said that after this date or on this date, if you are moving to Pakistan, so obviously because India will be having only one citizenship, you will lose your Indian citizenship and you will be Pakistani citizenship. Okay, you will get Pakistani citizenship or whatsoever, wherever you are moving. But if at all after going to Pakistan you are willing to come back, okay, so that time you have to satisfy 5 conditions if you are coming back to India from Pakistan. First is either your parents or your grandparents are born in India, then you have come to India under the permit system. Third will be that after getting that permit and staying in India, you are completing 6 months of stay in India. And after that 6 months, you are giving an application to the concerned officer that I want Indian citizenship. And on your application, that person concerned has also gave you the status of citizen of India. Okay? Clear? Yes, no, maybe,
Yes, ma'am.
nothing? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, then 7 we have completed. Now Article 8. Okay, so what Article 8 says? So Article 8 also is very simple. Okay, because that time we were under the British rule, right? So we were not the rulers, but there was not a democracy, but there was a rule, which was East India Company's rule, right? So now, because of this rule and because the British rule was very rude and Indians were, you know, discriminated and they had to face so many discrimination, that's why what happened, some Indians, though they are Indians, though their parents are born in India, they born in India, or their grandparents also, what they did, they left the country at that time because India was under the British rule. Okay, so they went to several other countries. We are not talking about Pakistan. Okay, so because Pakistan was very much a part of British India. So here when I'm saying abroad, abroad doesn't include Pakistan. Okay, so if these persons who are of Indian origin, that is PIO, okay, in person of Indian origin, but because of the British rule they were staying abroad, abroad as in any country except Pakistan. So in that case also they said, the article 8 says that though you were staying in abroad but you are of Indian origin, you still have now, after independence, now we are independent, you can come back. So the conditions that you have to fulfill is only 2 conditions. Okay, so first condition remains the same everywhere, either your parents or grandparents born in India. Okay, now the second condition is wherever you are staying. Okay, so for example, you are staying in USA at that time. So the second condition is you have to go to the consular's office, that is the diplomatic office, like you would have seen in any movie, right? So many movies they have shown that even if you are in other country, every country will have the other country's offices, diplomatic offices. Okay, so there you have to go and you have to register yourself as an Indian citizen. So if you fulfill these 2 conditions, then automatically you will be an Indian citizen under Article 8, which talks about Indian citizenship, though you are staying abroad. Okay, simple, or you have any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Purvi. Any other than Purvi, anyone has any doubt?
Ma'am, can you repeat, please?
Yes, Samiksha. So, Samiksha, it is actually telling about ki that time we were not independent, right? We had so many other rules and regulations to follow, and we were not treated with equality with the Britishers. So that was the reason that so many people of Indian origin, they were staying in much independent countries like USA, right? So now after we got independence, this Article 8 was meant for the people who left India at that time because we were not independent. Okay, so they were staying some abroad countries. Now, this article says that even if you are staying abroad, but you have an Indian origin. So, Indian origin means either you were born in India and then you left, maybe your parents born in India, maybe your grandparents born in India. Okay, so that is the first condition. And second condition, that's fine if you are an Indian person origin, we will give you this citizenship. But wherever you are staying, okay, whichever abroad country you are staying, you have to go to Indian consular office, that is Indian diplomatic office, and you have to register yourself as an Indian citizen there. Once you register, you will be getting Indian citizenship on the basis of Article 8. Am I clear now?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? We'll have
No,
a
ma'am.
short 5 minutes water break.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
I'll be joining after 5 minutes. Have water or whatever refreshment you want to have. Take 5 minutes. Yeah. Everyone is back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Someone has a class at 6:30, right? Who's that?
It's Aditya, ma'am.
Okay. Adi, how much time you have then now?
Till 6:30, ma'am.
6:30. What is the time now for you?
6 o'clock right now. It
6,
is.
right? So half an hour we have. So till now, whatever the articles we have seen, right? They were a bit difficult because we were talking about the domicile, like how we can get citizenship. Even sixth, we have talked about citizenship from the people who are coming from Pakistan to India. Then we have seen how they will lose their citizenship and how, if they are coming back from Pakistan, how they will get the citizenship, right? And then fourth point, we saw that how the people who are staying in abroad but having Indian origin can get their citizenship back, right? So these were all about the citizenship, how to acquire Indian citizenship, right? All this 5, 6, 7, 8. This all 4 articles were about how to gain Indian citizenship. Okay. Now, the other article, the 9th one, is bit different. How it is different? Now we are not talking about acquiring. We are talking about who will not be the citizen of India. Okay. Now, till now we were talking about acquiring a citizenship. Now we are talking about not deemed to be Indian citizen. So who are these people who are not deemed to be Indian citizen? Okay. So as I have been saying from the first lecture, that we have only one citizenship. We do not have the concept of dual citizenship. Okay. So if anyone before the commencement of the constitution, okay, if they are voluntarily taking the citizenship of other country, it means they are not deemed to be an Indian citizen. Okay. So in simple words, ऐसा कोई भी इंसान जिसने voluntarily means no one forced him to do that, but he himself he only has taken decision for himself or herself that I want the citizenship of some other country. So this person, whoever has taken voluntarily the citizenship of other country, now he cannot demand Indian citizenship either on the basis of 5 or 6 or 8. Okay, so he has stopped this 3 articles, so he cannot, in simple, you just have to remember, now he cannot ask for Indian citizenship if he has himself voluntarily acquired the citizenship of other country. Okay, as simple as that. That is article 9. Okay, so article 9 says not deemed to be Indian citizen. Not deemed to be a citizen. So who will not be a citizen of India? Anyone who has voluntarily taken the citizenship of another country. Okay, anyone has any doubt on article 8?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Raghu. Then we are moving to article 10. Okay, now what is article 10? So article 10 is talking about giving powers to the parliament. Okay, now how it is talking? It is saying that, if you have acquired Indian citizenship, okay, you have acquired the Indian citizenship and now you are Indian citizenship, or you are Indian citizenship, and if you weren't, you acquired it under 5 or then 6 or 7 or 8, and now you have become Indian citizen. Okay, so this article is saying that you can enjoy, okay, you can continue to enjoy the rights that the Indian citizen have, as long as the parliament is not making any new law to curb the same. It means that आपको अगर एक बार citizenship मिल गई है, okay, अगर आपको इंडिया की citizenship मिल गई है under 5, 6, 7 or 8, or maybe earlier only you were part of India, okay, and now you can enjoy the citizenship of India. You can have the rights, you can have the privileges that Indian citizens have, like the fundamental rights. You can enjoy, you can have the voting right, till the parliament is not coming with any new law. और अगर वो new law जो भी आया है parliament का, if it is saying that we are taking your right, we are taking your privileges of being citizen, then that law will apply on you. So it is just giving you the power, that it is just saying you that you can enjoy as long as you have, unless and until parliament is not coming with a new law. So the same thing happened, right? Now the parliament has come with a new law, which is CAA. And as per this article, it says that whatever the new law is saying, now you have to abide by that law, because parliament is the ultimate authority to decide about the citizenship. Okay, am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I clear? So it just says about continuance of citizenship. Okay, continuance of citizenship. So you can continue to have the rights and privileges of Indian citizenship unless the parliament is not making any law which is changing those rights and privileges. Okay, then the last one is article 11. So it is similar to article 10. Again here 11 is saying that parliament, after the commencement of the constitution, can make a new law on citizenship issues and matters. Okay, so this article is very easy, because it is just saying that parliament will have all the powers to make laws on the citizenship issues, and on the basis of 10 and 11, the parliament has made this law, which is called as Citizenship Act 1955. Okay, so now if you have to see like whether this falls under citizenship or not, now this is applicable and this is not applicable. What is not applicable now? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 and 11, they have just given the powers to parliament, so obviously it is still applicable. But if any citizenship issue comes up, then the government has to see the Citizenship Act 1955. Okay, am I clear on all these 6 articles?
Ma'am, can you repeat the 11th one? There was a network issue here, ma'am.
Yeah, actually 11th is just saying that parliament has the power. Okay, so now they are saying that till 1950 constitution was there, but after 1950 the parliament will come with a new law which will talk about the citizenship issues. Okay, and on that basis only, on the power which was given under article 11, the government of India, the parliament has come up with Citizenship Act 1955. So
Excuse me,
Article
ma'am.
11 is nothing but giving power to parliament, that now onwards, after 1950, now onwards, parliament will take care of any citizenship issues. Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, please explain Article 9 in short once more.
Article 9. Okay. So Article 9 says not deemed to be a citizen. Okay. So not deemed to be a citizen means who will be the persons who will not be the citizens of India. Okay. Now, till now we were talking about all the positive things, ki how you can be citizen of India. Now this is the first article which says that ये इसका मतलब होगा कि आप इंडियन सिटीजन नहीं होगे, you not deemed to be Indian citizen. So not deemed means who will be the person who will not deemed to be a citizen? A person who has voluntarily taken up the citizenship of other country. Okay, and because India is only having single citizenship, so that person automatically gave up his Indian citizenship to take the citizenship of other country. Okay, so if a person, if you being an Indian, you are not liking how India rules and whatever the conditions which are going on, and you want to be a US citizen. Now what you did, you voluntarily gave up. And what you did, you have taken up the citizenship by US. So once you are taking up voluntarily the citizenship of other country, it means you are leaving this because India has only single citizenship. Understood?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone has any other doubts from Article 5 to 11? Because I don't think today is the good time to start on the act, because it will be all confusing to you. Then
Ma'am,
whether
repeat
it
10
was-
once more.
Sorry?
Ma'am, repeat Article 10 once more.
Article 10.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Article 10 is continuance of rights. So Article 10 says that if you have acquired the Indian citizenship, okay, and you have already got the stamp of Indian citizenship, then you can enjoy the right and privileges. You can continue your Indian citizenship until the parliament is not coming up with any new law. Okay, so if the parliament is coming with any new law, then you will be ruled by that law, right? So earlier we were only dealt under 1955 Act. Now they have come up with the Amendment Act 2019, right? So as per now because the Amendment Act 19 came, we will be ruled by 19 Act. Okay, that is CAA 19. So this is simply saying that you can continue your rights, you can continue your citizenship, you can continue having the, enjoy the rights that has been given by Indian citizenship, but it will be applicable until parliament is not coming up with any new law. And if that new law is curbing your rights and privileges, then you have to obey that law which is given by the parliament, because parliament is the authority here who has been given immense power under 10 and under 11.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
Excuse me,
Any
ma'am.
other question? Yes, Vaibhav?
Ma'am, as we can see in Delhi that
people are protesting a lot, and they're
Yes.
harming all the public properties just because of this CAA. So, ma'am, can once an act passed in a parliament, can it be cancelled?
Yes, it can be challenged in the judiciary. So judiciary is the only authority now. I will teach you Article 14, right? 14 and few fundamental rights. After that, we will cover this topic. That if you are harming the public authority, how it will be tackled and all these things we will see. Because that time I have to combine the constitution with the criminal law, and we will see this point. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Now don't get confused. All your questions, just pack them, okay? Just write it somewhere, and when we will go till there, you can always ask me, and I'm sure that time your doubts will automatically be resolved. Okay, so we are very at the basic. We are only at the basics of 1950 ki 1950 में क्या law था, okay, citizenship का. And now then we will see in the next lecture, we will start with this act, okay, and then we will see how this act is and what are the powers, what are the things that has been given in the act. Yes, Samiksha.
Ma'am,
Tell me.
ma'am, 1 second. I forgot.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Happens to me a lot.
Ma'am, what will be the citizenship criteria for academic student? If his admission is done in abroad countries by scholarships and all, so how will it for the conditions of citizenship there? And if he continues the academic also and job also there, so
actually, whenever you go for an education purpose, okay, so it doesn't affect your citizenship. You just have to take a visa. That visa will be having a particular date. Ki from this date to this date, her course is there, and she can stay in the country till this date only. Okay, so visa is nothing but a permission from that country, which is allowing you to come to their country for the education purpose. So it has nothing to do with your citizenship.
okay, ma'am. So the tenure of the visa can be 5 years or 4 years.
It depends on for what purpose you are going. Okay, so they ask you your purpose also. For example, if I'm only going for travel purpose, so it won't be more than 10-15 days. And every other country has their own rules and regulations for visa. They are not similar, like they are not universal rules for visa. So it's difficult to say it like just, on the basis of some generalization. We cannot do that. Every country has their own rules of visa. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions, guys?
Ma'am, Articles 5 to 9, do they still have any relevance?
Article 5 to 9, no.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
It was
Thank you.
only for the commencement of India that time, which was the period of 1950.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other question?
And can you please repeat Article 8? At that time, I got disconnected, ma'am.
Adi. Okay. So 8, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So 8 talks about the people who are staying abroad. Okay, so even at that time, not only now people stays at abroad, because now it is very much in fashion, right? आधे लोग तो हमारे कनाडा में हैं, आधे लोग US में हैं, UK में बहुत population है इंडिया की. But that time there were few people who are from Indian origin but who were staying abroad because of the because of the British rule. Okay, so they were not liking the British rule, and for that reason they were staying abroad. Now again, abroad means all other countries except Pakistan, because we have already dealt the British India part in all our lectures from Article 5, 6, 7. Already we have seen all 3 articles which talks about British India, right? So this article says that if at all you were staying abroad, okay, and you are a person of Indian origin, then still, even if you are staying in abroad, still we will give you a chance to become an Indian citizenship. Now, how that chance will be given? You have to fulfill just 2 conditions. First condition is either you, your parents or grandparents were staying in India, were born in India, sorry. Okay. And a second condition, wherever you are staying, whichever abroad country you are staying right now, you just have to go to the consular's office, to the concerned Indian person who has been authorized to give you citizenship. You just have to go to him and you have to register yourself as Indian citizen. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Are you clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, guys?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Raghu. Then I'm just winding up the class here. Okay, and next class, whenever we will start, you have to come prepared. Okay, so I will pick just anyone and I will ask you to revise article. Okay, Raghu, explain article 7, Adi, explain article 8, or Samiksha, explain article 5. So you should be ready with all these articles from 5 to 11. Okay, don't disappoint me in next class and be ready, because I firmly believe that 20% read and 80% recite is the only rule. Okay, study rule. So 80% revision, I will be taking care of it, and you will be reading 20%. That is your responsibility. Okay, so we have divided the responsibilities now, and everyone has to fulfill their responsibility.
Ma'am, where
On
are you
this
from?
note, yes, Raghu,
Where are you from?
Maharashtra.
Where do you live now?
Now Bangalore.
Okay, ma'am. Just wanted to
Yeah.
ask.
Okay, guys. See you then. Okay, see you in next class. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
My
ma'am.
pleasure. Bye bye.